It's time to talk markets. We're visiting with Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading at ATI ProMedia. Tommy, we talked about it last week. We are still in this time of extreme volatility. Talk to me about what's happening in this market today.
Don, volatility is an understatement, and the market's exploded. I mean, we have a weather market, and the funds were short going into the weather market. Speculators, other people, analysts. First of all, the weather guys kept saying it was going to rain. We went 10 days past it's going to rain. Now they say it's going to rain again. So here we are, Friday, June 23rd, going into one of the biggest weather weekends in a long time. I thought this weather weekend would be last weekend with the Juneteenth holiday, but they thought it might be a little dry, rain in spots, and that's what happened. They added rain overnight. Market sold off viciously. Add July options expiration. So folks are no longer really trading or hedging old crop bushels. If you've held an old crop bushel this long, you now have a new crop bushel. As July has come off the board, you're seeing the basis, the difference between the cash and the futures all over America collapse, and you're seeing extreme volatility. Now, the good news is $6 corn is something we could only wish for a month ago. But when you're having $6 corn and you don't think you're producing the bushel, the price doesn't matter as much as the bushel. Because as you know as well as anyone, I say over and over, Tommy Grisafi and Advanced Trading are in the bushel business, Don.
No doubt about it. And you can't second guess Mother Nature. How do your clients deal with a very volatile market like this?
Yeah, great question. We like to buy puts and make sales. When we have sales, we're really strict about making sure we buy calls, especially on those first sales. If you don't buy calls on your first sales, Don, you won't be able to make your second, third, and fourth sales. So we really encourage when people start selling cash, buy calls, and then the rest we put, protect, and roll up. So Advanced Trading, myself, my team, we've rolled up everyone's puts. But when the put can't keep up with the futures, it encourages sales. Now, here's the trick. If you're scared to hedge 23, move to 24. We did some aggressive hedges. When D's 24 corn got above 550, we aggressively recommended to clients, this is worth protecting. Maybe not selling, but D's 24, we're not having a drought yet in 24, and the farmer, most important, if they get anything from watching this video, they do not have crop insurance in D's 24. Third, you throw in poor demand right now this year and maybe poor demand next year. If we do catch rain, South America does grow a big crop. The world does produce grain, all grains. We could be at a much lower level. We may look back in 550, may have been just a great price to sell D's 24 and protect D's 24 corn.
You look at the drought monitor yesterday, 64% of the corn crop, 57% of the soybean crop across the country now in some form of drought. That's pretty significant what we're talking about here.
It is. And you and I joked before we started recording, you said you were second in your class, and I said I was almost last in my class. But then you threw in the kicker, and this is why it matters. There was only 3 people in your high school. Yeah. But Don, if Don Wick and Tommy Grisafi know that information, the whole world knows that information. And we trade at the Chicago Board of Trade, and it is a futures market, and it gets ahead of itself. So if we know that, and we're taping this today, and that came out yesterday, it's old news. That doesn't mean it's not real. If you're in a drought, you don't have to email me or call me. You can. I believe you. I live in an area that's in a significant drought. But I know that weather markets end poorly because we have so much demand destruction. We weren't selling a lot of corn at 5. We sure as heck didn't sell any this week at 6. And if we go to 650 or 7, we are going to hurt demand.
So a lot of it is trying to protect ourselves in a very risky environment, correct?
Right. Agriculture has a huge risk. Let me mention one more point. 591 was the crop insurance level in corn. Once we got above it, the American farmer had a fiduciary duty to sell and protect above 591. The government had your butt from 591 to 0. You were responsible from 591 and above. So for all the people who said, I'm not going to hedge or protect because I have crop insurance, you still have a chance around $6 in corn and $13 in beans to get some hedges and protection on, Don.
So a week from today, we've got some more numbers out from USDA, I believe some stocks numbers, but also a look at this planting season. How significant is that?
I think it could be big. If the markets are trading down and then we realize that there was a lot of analysts who pulled a lot of acres out of North Dakota and South Dakota, I think we planted them. Now, the USDA came out with a very high North Dakota number to start. We may not hit that, but I think we hit a significant amount of acres here in North Dakota and South Dakota planted, and the fringe areas. Now, when we talk about the drought, you know that drought's in the middle, and we always count on the ice states to grow big bushels. When we have a record year, those record bushels come from all the states. So we know who's in trouble, but we're forgetting that states like Tennessee, Kentucky, all over Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, are having a potentially a really great crop.
EPA out yesterday with their renewable fuel obligations for 23, 24, and 25. Both the corn, soybean folks rather disappointed in those numbers. That really speaks to some of the demand, particularly with all these crush plants that are being built across the region.
Absolutely. Sorry to look at my phone, but it's so busy I had to. Don, the biofuel, soybean oil, aviation people, they got a taste of what the ethanol industry has been dealing with for years. If you built the whole business around a few people in Washington, D.C. saying, hey, you're still allowed to do that, we're just going to do less, it affected the markets. I mean, soybean oil went limit down and soybean meal traded almost limit up. You combine July options expiration into that, what they would perceive as bad news, and this is a very young industry. 3 months ago, 6 months ago, you were probably interviewing people and they were saying, we're going to need 13 million more acres of soybeans just to keep up. Remember those conversations?
Exactly.
You can cancel that. We're okay with what's planted.
So I know you're busy. The phone's been ringing. If folks want to get in touch with you, it is kind of a sense of urgency in the time of these volatile markets. How do they do that, Tommy?
Call us 24 hours a day, 1-800-664-4383. When they call that number, if they leave a message, if we don't answer, that message will then be emailed to me, and someone from my team will get back to you, Don. We buckle up, Buttercup. We got a weather market.
Good deal. Talking markets with Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, ATI ProMedia. Tommy, have yourself a great day.
Thank you, sir.